Thank you very much. Good morning. Thank you for coming. As Gareth already mentioned, I will be stepping in for some of our colleagues who couldn't make it. I'll try to fill their shoes and give an overview of the 7th Framework Program, or FP7 as we love to call them, love to call this program, this acronym, which actually stands for, the full name is 7th Framework Program for Research and Technological Development, so the research element is there as well. Thank you. And by the way, one good way to get over a jet lag is when you arrive late and you want to go to bed and then you find out that you have to make a presentation the next day which you haven't been prepared for. So bear with me. I'll try to do my best. ICTs. Well, it's not a secret, and all of you know that ICTs are driving the sometimes dramatic transformation of our societies, and our societies becoming really based on information, and they are key elements of our daily lives, as you can see in this slide. Just they're about everywhere, and we cannot imagine how we are going to carry on living without these elements. So equipment, components, ICT devices, ubiquitous. So now a little overview of where ICT research, development and innovation, as the new keyword that we like to use in Europe now, where does it stand, where we are? Well, it's a huge market as well, 660 billion euro. According to the data in my possession. If anyone's good at maths, you could do calculation in Korean won. How much is that? And Europe occupies the largest share worldwide, with 35% on the market share of ICT. It produces 23% of all the ICT value added in the world. It's one of the largest export sectors, and also import as well. And about 30% or more than 30% of the workforce in Europe is in ICT. European Union and European Commission is good at the various strategic documents, and one of the latest that we have is the so-called Europe 2020 strategy, which consists of several flagship initiatives. One of which is called the Digital Agenda for Europe, DAE, which is aimed at maximizing the potentials of ICT to boost Europe's competitiveness and prosperity and well-being of its citizens. And one of the objectives of this program is to increase the annual public spending on ICT research and development in Europe to 11 billion euros by year 2020, which is a huge amount of money and a serious effort. So why international cooperation is needed in ICT, and some of the previous speakers has already mentioned the importance of international cooperation, and just few observations. It's one of the, ICT accounts for about 30% of total R&D effort worldwide, and we cannot address complex scientific challenges alone. Countries need to share high-cost projects and research infrastructures. It's obvious that the European Union, countries of the European Union and South Korea are among the world leaders in ICT. We have, in general, very strong trade relations, and we're powerful players in terms of industry, technological, and R&D capability. And we both have highly developed digital infrastructure. So, at the same time, there are several challenges to this cooperation. One is, I'm not talking here specifically about Korea, but in general among countries of the world, is the protection of international intellectual property rights. This is one of the issues that may cause some problems. Then access to national programs of third countries. As you know, Framework Program 7 is open to participation of third countries, and I was particularly pleased today to hear from Dr. Lee and other speakers that the Ministry of Knowledge Economy and the Korean government and scientific programs are also open to European participation, and there's also a match funding for successful Korean organizations to participate in third countries programs, including FP7. So one other challenge, language and time zones. This is somewhat a barrier as well, technology transfer, and also national issues of national and regional character, like competitive advantage. So here we come to the 7th framework program finally, and what it is in a nutshell. Well, it's EU's main instrument for funding research in Europe. It will run for 7 years until 2013. The previous framework programs were 4 years, lasted 4 years. This one is longer, and has a substantial budget of 53.2 billion euros, which is also a significant increase from the previous framework program. And it places a new emphasis on international cooperation compared to other programs, and I will get into that in a bit of a detail later. For ICT part of this program, we base our activities on biannual work programs, and the current one is now active, 2011-2012. It was published this summer, and like I said, will run until 2012. So how the framework program is structured? It is made up of several building blocks. These programs, as we call them, capacities, people, ideas, and the cooperation, is, as you can see, cooperation is the largest one, and is the core of the whole program, with third of the funding. And within that cooperation program, there are 10 themes, and health, food, agriculture, energy, environment, and you can see that information and communication technologies are almost third of the cooperation program, with a total funding of 9.1 billion euros. How is the FP7 ICT program structured, the current program, 2011 and 2012? It is structured in various thematic challenges that the inputs for defining these challenges come from a wide segment of stakeholders in Europe, industry, academia, for instance, and it defines the priorities for this particular time frame. And yeah, like I said, they focus on a limited set of challenges, which are further then divided into objectives. And two groups of these challenges is, one is a commitment to reinforce Europe's competitiveness in basic ICT technologies and infrastructures, and also address socio-economic challenges that we're facing in Europe, for instance, ICT for health and aging and carbon economy and the like. So, and where do we stand in the FP7, the overall program, the ICT theme of that program? So this is the third work program that we're currently working on, and two programs, as you can see, have finished. More than 4.2 billion euros have been spent. The EU funding has been committed. There have been more than 1,100 projects launched or to be launched. Some are still being negotiating. More than 10,000 participations and more than 3,600 distinct organizations, both European and international, participating. Now, for the current work program, which runs until 2012, the ICT theme, we have a funding of almost 2.5 million euros. International cooperation in this work program have three main objectives. That is to jointly develop ICT solutions to major global societal challenges, also to respond jointly to technological challenges by developing interoperable solutions and standards, and to improve scientific and technological cooperation for mutual benefit. Obviously, this is a European program, but like I said, it's open for international cooperation for mutual benefit. That means that it's not only meant that Europeans should benefit fully, but the third country partners not. This is not the case. So how does the program support the practical steps? How does it support the third country participation? First of all, the general opening, which means that the challenges and the objectives, if they are open, if there are calls for proposals, third country participants are open to take part, except, well, there are certain eligibility criteria. Since it's a transnational European program, we need to have at least 3 EU member states or associated countries as participants. In addition to that, an unlimited number of third country participants are welcome. Then there is a targeted opening, what we call targeted opening. That is a specific country or a region is mentioned in a particular challenge or an objective. And there is one upcoming call 8, where Korea is mentioned in one objective, but I'll get to that later. And then we have so-called horizontal actions on international cooperation. For instance, we have coordinated calls with Brazil and Russia, and obviously in the future coordinated call with South Korea would be very, very welcome. And also there's a support to international partnership building and support to dialogues. And this is under this action, the Eurasia PAC or Eurasia PAC project is operating. It supports activities and policies, also networking, exchanges, studies, conferences, and things like that. This is what it's meant for. Now, where does Korea stand so far? We have finished 6 calls for proposals, and actually the 7th one closed recently, and projects are being evaluated. But so far there are 11 distinct projects with participation of South Korean organizations, and 10 of those projects are still running. Even though Korea is an industrialized country, and as a general rule we do not fund participants from industrialized countries, there are certain exceptions, which I'll mention later as well, but as you can see, some participants from Korea have received EU funding. It's not very significant, but still there is an amount of that. But of course, the picture of European entities based in Europe, like Samsung UK, is completely different. They are deeply involved in our framework program, and they do qualify for European funding because under our system they are European companies since they are registered in Europe. And some of the strategic objectives were Korean participation is particularly strong is in the Internet of Things, networked media, networks of the future, and a few others. Some of the Korean organizations that have been involved in FP7 so far, it's ETRI, and in parentheses you can see the acronym of the project in which they're involved and what this project is all about. For instance, ETRI is in an RFID project, GS1 Korea, KT Corporation, Yonsei University, Seoul National University, and a few others. How does Korea look compared to other countries? Well, here it's only Korean companies based in Korea that appear now statistics as international companies or organizations. As I mentioned, Samsung UK is a European company under our system. So the usually US, China, and Russia are our main applicants from third countries. Definitely we would like to see increased cooperation from Korean entities based in Korea in our framework programs for the mutual benefit, and I think it's also in Korea's interests to get involved in this program. So now let's look a bit at the future. Call 8, which will open in July of this year with a deadline of January 2012. There are certain challenges and objectives that will be open for this call. For instance, pervasive trusted network, service infrastructures, components and systems, technologies for digital content in language, and a few others. As you can see in red, there is one objective, objective 3.1, advanced nano-electronic components, design, engineering, technology, and manufacturability, where there is a targeted opening. The name of South Korea is mentioned in the work program as one of the countries with which cooperation on this theme is particularly encouraged. Of course, in this call, not all challenges are addressed that we have in the work program, but they are on a rotational basis, so to speak. But in the upcoming call, there is one where Korea is particularly encouraged to participate. Korean organizations are encouraged to participate. That doesn't mean that the others exclude. No, they're all open for third country participation, including Korea. But for this one, the cooperation would be very welcome. And after call 9 of this work program, call 8, the next one is call 9, which will be later in 2012. It will be a small call, as you can see, just a few challenges and a few objectives open. Now, a bit, just this slide will show you more specifically from call 8, this challenge 3, objective 3.1, where Korean participation is particularly encouraged, and you can see the more detailed description of what we are looking for, what we are calling for in this objective. So it's all available, and if it could, all interested parties could familiarize themselves with this program.